Good morning. The January 12th, 2017 special meeting of the Board of Investment is now called to order. In the interest of promoting the order and efficiencies of these hearings, persons who are disruptive to the hearing will be asked to leave the hearing room. Meetings of the Board of Investments are open to the public for the duration of the meeting. The hearing room must be vacated at the conclusion of the meeting. Failure to comply may result in the charge of trespassing. We're here today to consider the settlement agreement and consent decree with U.S. Department of Justice. We will hear from the public. Please understand that this will not be the final opportunity for the public voice to be heard on this consent decree. Before the consent decree is finalized, it must be approved by the federal judge. The city has asked the judge to hold a public hearing on this consent decree to hear from you. After the public comment this morning, the board members will have some comments. And finally, we will vote on whether to approve the agreement. We will now turn to the input from the public. I will call the names of any persons who have signed in and wish to offer public comments in groups of 10. When I call your name, please form a line down the center aisle. When it is your turn to speak, state your name and who you are representing and speak into the microphone. Each person will have 2 minutes to speak before the board. Please review the public comment guidelines given to you at the sign-in table before coming to speak. Time will be kept by the front of the room, and that's Liam. He raised his hand. You will be alerted when you have 30 seconds left by holding up a yellow card. At that time, you should start bringing your remarks to a close. You will be alerted when you are out of time by holding a red card. Okay. Okay. All right. We're going to ask that the presenters come up and present the consent decree.
Good morning, Madam Mayor, Council President, Comptroller, Commissioner Chow, and solicitors. I'm Suzanne Sangri from the City Law Department, and I'm here to present the settlement agreement and consent decree for your consideration and approval. At the then mayor's invitation, the Department of Justice conducted an investigation of the Baltimore Police Department beginning in May of 2015. The Department of Justice issued its findings from that investigation on August 10th of 2016, and that is the same day that the city, the police department, and DOJ released our agreement in principle, an agreement to work out the terms of the agreement that is here before you today. The purpose of today's agreement is to ensure that the city and BPD protect individuals' statutory and constitutional rights and treat individuals with dignity and respect and promote public safety in a manner that is fiscally responsible and responsive to community priorities. The parties are thus committed to effective constitutional law enforcement. The parties recognize that these outcomes require partnership between the BPD and the communities that it serves, one in which the department is transparent about its processes and provides community members with a voice in its functions. This agreement is designed to enhance BPD's relationship with its community through increased transparency and public input, improved oversight and accountability systems to ensure that the department will collect and analyze data on officer activities, impose discipline for misconduct fairly and efficiently, and enhance support for officers through robust employee wellness programs, law enforcement policies, training, and supervision. The city and BPD have already begun the critical work of reform, and this agreement is designed to build upon the work that has already begun. BPD has already made meaningful changes to numerous policies, provided additional training, supplied officers with new equipment, including beginning the implementation of body cameras. It has committed additional resources to its community outreach efforts, particularly with youth, and it's invested in additional technology and infrastructure. While the parties recognize this progress, they also recognize that much work remains, including in those areas where reform has already begun. The parties recognize that police officers work in difficult conditions, risking their well-being and physical safety, including the ultimate sacrifice of their lives, and they do it for the public good. The city and BPD commit to ensure that its officers have the resources to perform their duties successfully and within constitutional boundaries to protect officer and public safety. For this agreement to obtain the force of law, if this board approves it, it will later this morning be filed in the federal court along with a complaint. At the time that it's filed in federal court, it will become a public document. The agreement, once reviewed and entered by the court, and we've requested, as the council president mentioned, a public hearing before it becomes final in the court, that the court hold a public hearing. Then, once it's entered, the decree will effectively end the complaint without litigation, and we will proceed to the work of implementing the reforms of this agreement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, before we start, I want to recognize Councilman Leon Pinkett, who is with us, Councilman Brandon Scott, who's the chair of my Public Safety Committee, any other elected officials. Reverend Jerome Stevens, representing Senator Ben Cardin's office. Any more elected officials? Okay. All right. The first person signed up is Christina Flowers. I'm just joking. I wanted Kim too hard to say something. Members of DOJ is here as well. The first citizen to sign up is Ms. Kim Truhart.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is my first chance to see you in action. This is good.
State your name.
My name is Kim Truhart, born and raised in Baltimore. And sadly, I've lost 5 cousins to gun violence in this city. And so folks wonder why I do what I do. There will not be a 6th member of my family lost to gun violence in this city. Why? Because we're going to reform the Baltimore City Police Department. I have every desire, hope, and confidence that the reforms that the people have asked for will occur. Because I didn't hear the kinds of reforms to the degree that I'm hoping for described this morning. So that concerns me. So you can't just change policies. You just can't write new stuff. You just can't shift things around, right? We need reform. And we need deep reforms in the department that has brutalized citizens and in some respects, while not proven in court, killed people. I don't get what the reticence is to reform the department. But if this decree doesn't go far enough, and I'm a skeptic, absolute skeptic, you're not going to have a happy city, because we're not already happy. We're very concerned that it doesn't go far enough. But we'll wait to see, right? I filed a written protest. I don't like this process. I would much prefer that locally we address any concerns that the citizens of Baltimore have, rather than make us go to the court system to implement any change or fixes that we don't like. Thank you for what you've done. I thank the officers who wear the uniform proudly and serve and protect us, but there are some bad ones. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Ms. Shuhart. Christina Flowers.
Good morning, Ara. Good morning, Madam Mayor.
Good morning.
Good morning. I represent,
Christina.
oh, my name is Christina Flowers.
So you won't have to
Lift it up,
stoop.
so I don't, okay.
Let's put it right up
Let me
straight
bring
up.
it closer to me because I'm taller. It's trying to hurt my back. My name is Christina Flowers. I'm a community homeless advocate, and I'm here to represent the homeless population. It's a voice of individuals that have been affected by so many harms and dangers, not only from this DOJ report, just from a community of individuals. We have over 10 homeless encampments in the city, and they're always an issue to where they're either being harassed, bothered, or messed with by the police department. So myself, as a homeless advocate, represent that population to understand that I would like to be a part and aware of some of the reforming when it goes around this community and that population of individuals so that we can make sure, and I know, Madam Mayor, this is one of your biggest peas, that our homeless population is not only treated with dignity and respect, but they're also given a consideration of safety when they're in the homeless situation that they're in, until we move forward and do much better with ending homelessness. So all my council people that are here, I am grateful, even my Leon Pickett, my councilman, we look forward to being a part of this so that we can make sure that our homeless community is taken care of. Thank you guys very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Before I allow the mayor to recognize, I want to recognize the council people. You can recognize him.
I wanted to recognize one of our former city solicitors, Mr. Zollicoffer. Good morning.
Welcome back. I'd like to recognize Councilman Stokes, Councilman Burnett, and Councilman Bullock, who have joined us as well. Okay, the next speaker is Jacqueline, is it Robage? Did I pronounce that right? Robage, okay. I think I said that.
I am Jacqueline Robarge, the Director of Power Inside, and our program works on behalf of homeless women, women impacted by street prostitution, addiction, and trauma. And because I did not have the opportunity to look at the remedies being proposed, I'll talk about what needs to be remedied. So right up until last night, about 10 o'clock, I'm taking testimony from victims of crime, sexual assault primarily, who are being mistreated by the Baltimore City Police Department, right up to and including being sexually assaulted by Baltimore City police officers. And so we know that the consent decree must include meaningful and accessible reporting mechanisms from multiple avenues to allow vulnerable people and victims of crime and victims of police brutality and misconduct to report those crimes. We also know that we need adequate representation on the Civilian Review Board and have accountability that is transparent to the entire community. And I really am having difficulty commenting on a process, on a document that we have not seen, and I was reluctant to comment at all because I do not feel like this is a meaningful public input process with a document that is mostly finalized. So thank you for hearing my comments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to ask, is there any more citizens who have signed up? We only had the 3. Okay. I want to thank the individuals who have come out to provide comments. We've heard the pleas for meaningful reform from the citizens of Baltimore far too long. Today, your city will take a major step towards providing the constitutional policing that every citizen deserves. That this change was hard fought is an understatement. There have been loved ones, from mothers and daughters, brothers and sons, to wives, grandmothers, aunts and uncles, who have long sought justice. I know because I've met a great number of you. You'll stop me on the streets, in the grocery stores, at schools, and in barbershops to plead for meaningful reforms to policing in Baltimore. This passion was behind my push more than 2 years ago to get the Department of Justice to carry out the very action that has brought us here at this moment, at this time. To the families, we have heard you. We took seriously your cries for justice. And as we prepare to make police reforms official, I want to thank you for never giving up, for continuing to fight, and for believing that the rights of every citizen are worth protecting. To the men and women of the Baltimore Police Department, I know that a great many of you, too, have wished for this day. I've come across countless officers who understand that police reforms have the ability to restore trust in the department and ultimately make the job of policing in our city much easier. Citizens need to be partners with police, and today's consent decree with the federal government is the first step towards a renewed relationship between our officers and the citizens of Baltimore. I'd like to thank Mayor Pugh and her staff for taking this work seriously. They assumed control in early November and hit the ground running. You and your team have sacrificed holidays and sleep. You're giving up time with your families and worked around the clock to make today's signing of the consent decree possible. I want to thank you for your hard work and dedication to the citizens of Baltimore. Let's keep the fire lit as we work to bring about the change that so many of us fought long and hard for. And thank you very much. And thanks to your team. Now I'll turn it over to Comptroller Joan Pratt.
I'd just like to say that I am pleased that a settlement has been reached that promotes community and officer safety and improves public confidence in the law enforcement and civic leadership. The consent decree and the settlement agreement is intended to treat all stakeholders, including the Baltimore City Police Department, along with the community at large, with dignity and respect while protecting the constitutional rights of all parties. Thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Let me just first thank all those who took time out to come and speak, but I also want to take time to thank all of the people in the community who spoke out, spoke up, stood up. I attended some of those forums, and I know that even through my campaign effort, folks were pressuring, when you get there, are you going to deal with this? And thank you for doing that. But more importantly, what I want to say to you all is that this particular part of the process is a closed process. That is according to the DOJ and the laws thereof. However, this is only the beginning of the process, and that's why there'll be a suit filed in court that opens up the public process so that you get to see everything, and this document becomes public once we sign it. That's what will occur at 10:30. It will be online. It will be available. You get to see every single aspect of this document, and then you get to comment again on the document. When we put the mediator in place, that creates another community engagement process. You are all also invited to engage in that process as we begin looking for who will help us to carry out this agreement. And I want to say to those of you who spoke of very specific communities, the homeless, those who are sexually assaulted, you'll find in this agreement that there's special monitoring put in place just as it relates to those particular areas and discussions that you've made. The intent of this agreement is to make sure that we accommodate every single citizen, regardless of their age, their residency, whatever their problems may or may not be, is considered in this document, because every single citizen in this city deserves fair treatment. And I want to just take a moment to say thank you, David Ralph. Thank you, where's Ganesha? Thank you, because I was on the phone and sometimes sitting here till 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning because I instructed this team. And Mr. President, it was December the 6th that I was inaugurated, and December the 7th when I walked in here. I think about 33 days we've been on the job, and I said, we will do this. We will get it done. This, again, is the process. And so I thank you all, the entire negotiating team, because I've spoken. I remember one morning at 1:30 in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, I was talking with the negotiating team, and they said, okay, we'll get back to work. And my city solicitor said, I'll call you back. And so I called back at 1:30 in the morning. He says, what are you still doing up? I said, I'm waiting for you. And so this has been an intense process. And I want you all to know that I am here to represent the citizens of Baltimore. And as I committed to you all when I became the mayor of this city, things that involve our citizens are essential. They're important. You elect us to represent you. But I also want to thank the Baltimore City Police Department because they didn't wait till this agreement was in place. Just on yesterday, I attended a mediation organization that I was invited to see what they were doing. And over 500 police officers and students, they talked about how they put them in a room and the police sat on one side and the young people sat on the other side. But through community mediation, by the end of the mediation, they were beginning to understand each other. They were sitting next to each other. They were having conversations. So things are going to happen. But I want folks to know this was never, for me, never about how much it cost. Yesterday, last night, probably around 10 or 11 o'clock, I talked to Senator Van Hollen. I talked to Senator Ben Cardin. I talked to our congressman. And they said, we will roll up our sleeves because we want to help you. They asked how much it was. I said, we never even looked at the cost. This is about rightful treatment of the citizens of Baltimore. So I commit to you that the open process allows you all to continue to speak, to review this, to make sure it is what you need it to be. All of the things that were talked about, I think I attended, the hip hop community forum with all the, the caucus forum, and the ideas and so forth that were suggested from that group I thought were awesome. And you'll find that some of that is, most of that is included here. So, Mr. President, we know just by virtue of research that many of these agreements take 13 months, 14 months, a year. We're serious about this work, and we're very serious about this work. And so I thank everybody who participated in it. I look forward to seeing Ms. Lynch later on today. And more importantly, I think that this is a wonderful and great day for Baltimore, that we've taken this step forward. Thank you to the leadership, Mr. President. Thank you, Madam Comptroller, and to the members of this board for at least allowing us to have this special meeting, because we did not want to miss anybody's deadline, more importantly, our deadline for the citizens of Baltimore. The process begins. So, Mr. President, I move approval of the settlement agreement and consent decree with the United States Department of Justice, and I thank all of you.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion carries. There being no more business before this board, we will recess until bid opening on January the 18th at 9 a.m. Thank you.
Prior to the bid opening.
Okay,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah.